You've just filed a class action lawsuit against the Chinese government. What can you tell us about the action?
Well, people should go to freedomwatchusa.org. That's freedomwatchusa.org. That's our website. You can see the complaint. You can sign up to be a possible class action plaintiff. It's going to be a very costly fight. Let me tell you what it is. China, through its laboratories in Wuhan, China, they have a biomedical military facility there, developed a biological weapon. That was COVID-19. That helps explain why it mutates when it goes from one person to the next. Now, either negligently or by design, that escaped from that facility. Biological weapons, of course, are a weapon of mass destruction. They're, of course, in effect, a terrorist weapon. They're outlawed by international treaty and convention, including treaties and conventions that China has signed on to. So as a result, they have no legal immunity from suit. Now, China has trillions of dollars in assets in this country invested in banks, securities, CDs, other means of storing their money in the United States, because until this destabilization of our economy, we were the most secure place to store it. I mean, it's everything that was gained during the Trump administration with the stock market is now lost and more.
Wow.
China's responsible for this damage. China should have to pay. And that's the purpose for this lawsuit, because we've asked now for in excess of $21 trillion. That would almost cover our national debt before the latest crisis. And there's no reason why they shouldn't pay. They're not immune. The money's here to collect. Dallas Morning News, which is very leftist, I've sued them for my brave client, Dimitri Penny, wrote an article a few minutes ago which said that we'll never collect. Well, they're angry because I sued them for their defamation. They're part of the left-wing media. We have a left-wing media task force at Freedom Watch as well. But I want people to go there and sign up for this class action suit, to donate with tax-deductible contributions. This case is bigger than Larry Klayman. I'm going to have to enlist lawyers throughout the country. Some of them are going to have to pay. I hope we'll get volunteers, but that's going to be very costly. There are a lot of innocent people out there in this country, and they're dying because of what these politicians have done over the years, and they're being infected, and they're being frightened, and they're losing their life savings. And who should have to pay for that? The Chinese. I don't hate the Chinese people. The Chinese people are good people, but this government is illegal. This government is criminal. This government needs to pay, and they've got the money to pay it right in U.S. banks. Now, China was developing this in their lab in Wuhan, China. That's the only bioweapons lab that they
How do we know
in China. There are various reports. Read the complaint. It's very detailed. I mean, there were various admissions, in effect, that were made by China. There were people that, doctors who died, Chinese doctors. It probably got out by accident, but it got out. So who should have to pay the damage? The Chinese should have to pay the damage. And again, this is not an attack on the Chinese people. Look at the Chinese Americans who have done so many good things for this country, particularly on the West Coast. You know, they built the city of San Francisco, of Los Angeles, of others, the railroads, things like that. That's not about the Chinese people. This is about this government. And what we're saying is, pay up. We, the American people, that the Chinese, either by design or negligently, are in fact destabilizing this country to the degree, economically and politically, that it will serve their ends. And of course, Russia is helping out with, their oil policy with Saudi Arabia. The oil market has crashed, and they now see the United States on the run. They see us on our knees. We will prevail. God's on our side. We will prevail like the ancient Hebrews, Israelites, and Christians prevailed, and we will win. But we have to change course right now. We have to hold those accountable that deserve to be held accountable. That bribed the Clintons to the hilt in the 1990s. I was the one that triggered the China scandal. The Chinese, they bribed Hillary and Bill to the hilt. Okay, I represented Johnny Chung, who, came around, but he said, the White House was like a turnstile. Put in $50,000 and you can get access. That was from Chinese intelligence sources that money came from. He didn't know it, but that's where it came.
Larry Klayman has brought a class action lawsuit against the People's Republic of China and various other parties, including the Chinese the People's Army, and he's got a class action lawsuit that people can join as defendants. If you go to freedomwatchusa.org, you can read the complaint. You can contribute to the fund that is being used to hold the People's Republic of China and the People's Liberation Army accountable for the coronavirus COVID-19 outbreak. Larry, thank you for joining me today. Anything else you'd like to say before we close?
I just want to say one thing. I thank you, Jason, for allowing me to say my piece. I appreciate your points of view. I will always tell the truth.